The following is a paid advertisement. The views expressed are the sole responsibility of the advertiser.
Put the power back in your hands. This is Behind the Law with attorney Justin Clark.
Welcome to Behind the Law and happy weekend to you. Remember, we are here live. We will answer your questions. The phone number will remain on the screen during the entire program. It's a great show today. Allow me to introduce you to my beautiful co-host, as always, Michaela Nichols. Hello, Michaela. How are you?
I'm great.
You are here to be the voice. Is that how Philip does it?
It's Bane, from Batman, the people.
Of the people. You are not a lawyer. I am. You're going to have questions that the people at home may have. You're here to answer their questions. Is that right?
I'm here to ask their questions.
What did I say? Answer?
Yeah.
All right. How many strikes do I get?
I mean, I knew what you were trying to say. I just hope they did.
Here's what's coming up. A great show. We've never discussed workers' compensation on this show. You see television commercials about auto accident. You don't hear about workers' comp as much. We'll talk about that. Also, Gregory Krak will be here to join us to talk about your insurance claims. A lot of people still suffering from their hurricane claims. We will answer all of those questions. Are you ready?
I am.
Here's what we're going to do. A very, very quick break. When we return, Behind the Law continues. Does credit card debt have you spinning out of control? You are not helpless. At Attorneys Justin Clark and Associates, our goal is to lower or even eliminate your credit card debt. Call me today or visit youhavepower.com and take back control of your financial life. Welcome back to the show. You know, we had a lot of storms last year. A lot of people have damage to their house, their roof. What do? You become lost in how do I deal with these insurance claims? You know you don't have $100,000 sitting around to just fix your house, right? And you know you have insurance coverage. What do you do in that situation? And as always, it is a pleasure to be joined by our great friend, attorney Gregory Krak. Greg, how are you, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Let me start with these law changes just a little bit, because I think it's very clear. We've talked about it on the show before. The changes in the law, which have been in the news a lot lately, are not good for the consumer. We think these are very bad.
They are definitely not good for the consumer. They are very good for the insurance industry. And most of the lawmakers up in Tallahassee didn't tell everyone that, because they wanted to get it passed as quickly as possible, which they did. So it's going to make it a little more difficult when you want to hold your insurance company accountable if they deny your claim wrongfully, or if they don't pay you what you're owed to repair the property. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, but we're going to have to kind of pivot and adjust with the new laws.
And I don't want to dissuade anyone, obviously, from calling to reach out to you for help. What types of claims do you handle the most? What are we seeing the most of these days? Is it roof? Is it damage to the house? What are you seeing?
Well, because of Ian and Nicole, most of them are flood claims and then wind claims from the hurricanes. So we have both, but typical Florida weather throughout the summer, from hail claims to your normal summer wind claims, it's roof claims, as you might imagine. Lots of roof claims throughout. But recently, in the last couple of months, we're still seeing lots of the hurricane claims.
And, we see commercials all the time, of course, for personal injury attorneys. If you've been injured in an auto accident, no fees unless we're paid. How does it work when it comes to insurance claims?
Very similar. A lot of times I don't like to compare myself to a personal injury attorney. But if we don't win money for our clients, we work for free. So that enables the homeowner who doesn't have $15,000 sitting in their bank account to repair that property, and their insurance company has not treated them properly and wrongfully denied that claim, they can then hire us, and we only get paid if we're able to prevail on that claim.
I constantly hear about this assignment of benefits. What does that mean exactly?
That means if a contractor comes in and says, look, we can repair your roof, or you have damage to your house, we think it may be covered, and just sign right here, assign that over to us, and now we own the right to the claim. That contractor, a lot of times it's not explained real well to the property owner, but then the contractor, say a roofer, for example, they will step into the shoes and now own that insurance claim completely. They can file their own lawsuit. They have their own attorneys. They can file a lawsuit on behalf of themselves as the now new owner of the claim and proceed forward that way. So a lot of people don't understand it quite what they're signing, as you might imagine. I mean, you see it all the time when people are signing contracts and they don't read it. And that can come back to bite him in the end.
Do you read contracts as a lawyer? Not for your clients, for you. Like when you go to Verizon Wireless and they're like, oh yeah, sign up for this new plan, do you read it or no?
Absolutely not.
Me neither.
I don't.
No one does.
I just assume, look, I'm a lawyer. I don't have to go hire one. If they're going to mess with me, but it's probably not the best. Don't do that.
Exactly.
Don't do that at home.
Yeah.
That's very bad advice.
Yeah, good advice.
Oh, yeah. But
Not good advice for a law show.
No, I know. Terrible advice. Here's what you need to do, though. If you have a claim, if you have any damage to your house, roof or otherwise, there's no reason why you would not give Greg a call to discuss that claim. He's going to tell you straight up, can you do anything about it? Can you not do anything about it? Can we try? Maybe we even have gotten an offer directly from the insurance company. That adjuster has called you and said, hey, we're going to offer you $10,000. Greg can tell you if that's a good offer or not. And quite honestly, most of the time, it's not. It's not. Call right now. He will answer your questions at 321-282-1055. How does this process normally work? So someone does see a damage to their roof, all right? And they don't know anything about roofing. They don't know anything about law. Take me step by step after that. I see damage to my roof. What do I do?
Okay. Most of the time, people are not going to notice that damage to their roof unless it's obvious. You know, we have shingles in the yard or their roof is leaking, then they'll call someone. First thing you need to do, if you haven't already, is get a roofing contractor out there. Or if it's some other type of damage, get a plumber out there. Get someone out there that can tell you what kind of damage you have and what caused it. And then the next thing you need to do is report it to your insurance company promptly. That's kind of the verbiage that are in these insurance contracts. You must report the damage promptly, or they can deny the claim for waiting too long to report it. Then let the process play out. Now, I've had plenty of clients over the years come and have me handle their claims from the beginning. But I would advise people to look, investigate, hire the contractor to come out, determine what damage you have, what caused it, and then report that claim to your carrier. See how that process plays out. Then once you get the coverage determination, when the insurance company tells you what's covered, what's not, then come. If you don't feel like it's, you're being treated fairly, then contact me at that point.
So what do I do? Try to find my insurance policy and call a phone number? Is that sufficient to start the claim?
That is. A lot of people can now make claims online, but if you're not comfortable with that, find your policy and then just call that 1-800 number to the insurance company and report it that way.
Obviously, many people have been into your office when they have received an offer from their insurance company. So the insurance adjuster went out to the house, did their inspection, whatever they had to do. And they've come in and the insurance adjuster says, great news, we're going to give you $12,000 here. How often is that number a lowball number or what you would think is not sufficient for those repairs?
It's a majority of the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, the insurance adjusters are going there. They're trying to save their own company money.
Right.
So they're not looking to pay out a lot of money. They like to take in those premiums, but not pay out a lot at the time. So what you want to do as a property owner, and all those homeowners out there listening, is get your own estimates, get your own bids. Hire your own contractor, bring them in, and if you don't know anyone out there, you don't trust anyone, give my office a call, we can recommend someone. But have your own contractor come in, get a detailed estimate, and even give that to the insurance company. Say, look, insurance company, you say my repairs are going to cost $12,000, but my contractor says it's $22,000. And see what they say in response. And if they ignore you or say, nope, our estimate is our payout is the only amount you're getting, and that's when you call an attorney to get involved.
It scares me a little bit because a lot of these adjusters that do go to the house, they're nice, and I don't know if they're trained to be that way, but typically what's so funny? What did I say?
Trained to be nice?
Yeah, I think they're trained to be nice. They're trained to connect with the homeowner, and there becomes this trusting feeling, and then the homeowner says, well, this is my own insurance company. I've been paying them premiums. This dude out here on my roof has been really nice to me. And they become trusting of the insurance company, almost like they're on the same team. And oftentimes that's not the case.
A lot of times it's not, but I almost, it's similar to having some type of medical condition. You go see a doctor, why not get a second opinion? It's not going to hurt.
Right.
So you can get that estimate from your insurance adjuster. They tell you how much is covered, what it's going to cost to repair. But that's not the end of the road. Make sure that you have your own contractor come in. You want to know how much it's actually going to cost to get that repaired before you say, yes, we'll agree to accept that, claim is over with.
Right.
You at least want to get a second opinion at a minimum.
What do they fight the hardest on? These insurance companies, when I make a claim, what are they fighting me on? They're fighting me on the cost of the repair? Is it that this isn't covered? What is their fight back?
For me to answer that, it'd take about 2 hours.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
There's
yes.
a laundry list of things.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's talk about roof claims.
Okay.
A lot is it's repair versus replace. You know, the adjuster comes out there and says, oh, we can repair this, we can match up the shingles. One, if the roof is more than a year old with the sun degrading those shingles or the roof tiles, you're not going to be able to match it. So you're going to have a checkerboard roof. So if you don't mind that, then maybe no big deal.
Right.
But if you do, no way you're going to be able to match it. And then other things are like, look, are we going to be able to fit this? Is the shingle, that particular shingle, still manufactured? Is that particular tile still manufactured? Are they going to connect the same way to keep your house watertight and keep all the storms out?
Right.
So a lot of different things go into those roof claims. With other things, it's causation. They'll fight you on causation. So there's many things in your insurance policy that are not covered, lots of exclusions. And so these insurance companies will send out adjusters or engineers, experts, that will find a cause of loss that's not covered under the policy. And they'll report back to the insurance company and say, okay, this leak, it's been happening for 6 to 8 months, and we don't cover long-term leaks, only short-term. Yeah. And so it's mainly causation when it comes to claims other than the roof claims.
And listen to me close, and I'm not bashing insurance companies, I'm not. I have a lot of friends in the insurance industry. Most of them made a lot of money somehow because they're not paying claims or as much as they should. But don't be offended, don't be scared if your insurance company comes back to you and says, we're only going to pay this much, or they say, oh no, this is not covered. That is not the end of the road for you. Greg is here to talk to you about that today. Don't let what they say be the end of your road, because if you take that advice, it might be a very, very bad move for you financially. Again, 321-282-1055. The wheels of justice turn slowly, as they say. The legal process can take a long time, Greg. What should I be geared up for time-wise on something like this?
All depends on the type of claim, but as you and I have discussed before, my philosophy at my firm, look, we try and avoid the courthouse, try and avoid litigation. My clients don't want to wait a long time to get their homes repaired. Some of them are living, without access to their kitchens or their bathrooms, or moving out completely if their roof is leaking a lot.
Right.
So we try and work with the insurance companies and get that claim resolved as soon as possible. If it has to go into litigation, really depends on which insurance company you're fighting with. Again, it can take anywhere, probably on average, say 3 to 5 months.
Right.
But I've got some where it surprised me, I get them resolved within the first 30 days after we file the lawsuit. And other insurance companies want to fight for a year more. Yeah. It's just really hard to tell at the beginning how hard they're going to fight. But we do as much as we can to try and get it resolved without even having to go to the courthouse.
The best in the business, Greg Krak.
Appreciate it.
Skinnier than me. I'm trying to wear one of these skinny boy shirts today, but you do it better than me. I don't know if I'm angry with you or proud to be next to you. One of the two.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome job, Greg. As always, here's what we will do. A quick break. When we return, we've never discussed workers' compensation on this show. I'm very excited to do so. It's a very unique area of law. We'll do so after this quick break as Behind the Law continues. Does student loan debt have you spinning out of control? You are not helpless. At Attorneys Justin Clark & Associates, our goal is to lower or even eliminate your monthly payments. Call me today or visit youhavepower.com and take back control of your financial life. If you own a house, it is your most valuable possession. You need to know what windows you have. Why don't you think about your windows? Do you have any idea that your windows really dictate your electricity bill every single month? There's one place to turn in this community for windows in your house, and it's certainly Renewal by Anderson. Dan Brigman joins me. You're a family to me at this point. Let's be honest. I love you. I love your family. But the Renewal by Anderson family is what makes you so trustworthy. The culture there, it's a family.
Absolutely, Justin. And by the way, glad to be here. And yeah, it's our people, it's our process, it's our product, but it's our people more than anything. When we come out to your house, it's all about you. It's about, we're going to treat your home as if it's our own. We're going to do the same with your family.
I put a QR code on the screen for you, and Dan is offering you an unbelievable deal today. If you go to the QR code, you're going to send an email. What do they get?
Man, you buy one window, get 40% off the next, almost unheard of. We're excited.
Unbelievable. And then you talk about the electricity bill, because windows, I don't think people understand how important the windows are to the electricity bill every month, and the electricity bills are skyrocketing.
It's extremely important, and glass in your house takes up over 25% of the square footage of your wall space in your home. So that's the equivalent of one full wall in your house. Imagine sun hitting that all day long and all of that heat coming in.
A lot of people think window replacement would be very expensive. Sometimes we can do it for free. When you think about monthly payment over time, no interest, the money you save on your electricity bill, it's free.
Absolutely. By the time you put all the factors together, the energy savings, the curb appeal, the resale value, all of these things just add up. And then you got the financing that we have going on right now. Zero interest, 2.9, things that you just don't see anymore.
It's unbelievable. If you own a house, thank you, Dan, as always. If you own a house, you need to send us a message right now. You will not be disappointed. Renewal by Anders. Do IRS threats have you spinning out of control? You are not helpless. At Attorneys Justin Krak Associates, our goal is to lower or even eliminate your IRS debt. Call me today or visit youhavepower.com and take back control of your financial life. I'm excited about this segment because it's really something I can't remember ever talking about on this show, and it's workers' compensation. You've been injured on the job. What do you do next? One of the best when it comes to workers' compensation in Central Florida in general, really. Glen Wieland joins me. Hi, Glen. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
I met you probably 15 years ago. I was doing workers' comp defense. I would fly up from Miami, a frown on my face because I had to leave Miami and come here at the time. But we always really admired the work you did for your clients. You represent injured workers. That's what you do. You've done it for many, many years.
Correct.
But the question is, I think a lot of people have workers' compensation versus personal injury. It's still an injury, but it's very different. What are the differences?
Well, the main difference is in workers' compensation, you don't have to prove anybody was at fault if you're injured at work in the course and scope of your employment. You don't have to prove that the employer was negligent. In fact, it doesn't even matter that the employer is negligent because you can't sue your employer for personal injury.
So, all right, let's say I'm an employee at one of these big box construction stores, okay? And literally, I'm horse playing with my coworkers, and I fall down, break my arm. Can I get workers' compensation for that?
You can, okay. If you're actually horse playing. There is a defense called horseplay.
Oh, really?
That sometimes they'll bring it up, but it's all part of the comp claim, and unless the insurance company can prove that this was really out of the ordinary, you're still going to be able to get benefits.
How do I pay my lawyer in workers' compensation?
Most of the time, the lawyer gets paid just on a contingency fee basis. Okay. If the lawyer doesn't secure any benefits for the client, then there's no fee that's charged.
Got it. How does the claim go? So I get injured on the job. I take an ambulance to the hospital. Do I decide what doctors I go see? Does the workers' compensation carrier decide? How does it all work?
Oh, no, you don't get to pick your doctors in workers' comp. The insurance adjuster picks all your doctors.
Really?
They have to authorize the MRIs. They have to authorize the physical therapy. Everything has to be pre-authorized. So if you get hurt on the job and your doctor orders an MRI, it may take 4 or 6 weeks to get it done because the adjuster has to authorize it.
Wow.
If it was you at home and you got hurt in your backyard and you go to the doctor and the doctor ordered an MRI, you might have it that afternoon or the next day. But not in workers' comp. It doesn't work that way.
So let's ask a question, and I don't know if you can answer it or not, but we try to go behind the law on the show a little bit. Is it safe to say at times that doctors who are hired by these insurance companies can be on the side of the insurance company, not the patient?
Well, we find that there are some doctors that get a lot of their business from the insurance companies because the insurance companies have to authorize them.
Right.
So if they aren't favorable to the insurance companies can stop sending injured workers to them.
It's pretty sick.
It's very sick. But in the way things have happened now with a lot of the hospitals buying up the big orthopedic practices, they don't have as much control because now they're owned by the hospital. So, it works a little differently.
So conglomeration in some ways has helped the injured worker?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
All right, let's say that I'm injured on the job, and I have the same injury that I would have had in an automobile accident, okay? But the injury was on the job as opposed to an automobile accident. When it comes time to settle that claim, am I going to get less in workers' comp than in a regular personal injury claim?
Typically, yes, because you can't get pain and suffering, loss of enjoyment of life. You can't get any money just because you have a disability, where you can collect those things in a personal injury case.
So what am I collecting for when I go to settle my workers' compensation? What is their incentive to settle with me?
Well, first off, in workers' comp in Florida, if you're injured on the job, you can have medical care potentially for the rest of your natural life paid by the insurance company, as long as you go to an authorized doctor and get care that's related to your accident at least one time per year. So what the insurance companies want to do, they want to close the file. They don't want somebody hanging around for 25 years getting medical care, so they want to close that file, and they'll pay money to try to settle that case, so they're not paying out for 25 years.
I think a lot of times someone who gets injured on the job is that they're worried for their job. They're afraid that if I make a claim here, my boss is going to hate me, I'm going to get fired. Are there any protections for injured workers from getting fired for making a claim?
Yeah, there's a specific statute, 440.205, that says an injured worker cannot be fired, intimidated, harassed for filing a workers' compensation claim. Now, do employers do that? Yeah, they do it all the time. They just don't do it and say, we're doing it because you filed the comp claim. They find another reason. Oh, you were 30 seconds late for work, or you weren't dressed appropriately, or they find other reasons. But yeah, there is some protection for them, and we've had some good cases where people were fired and they made a nice recovery against the employer.
Oh, really? So that's separate from workers' comp then?
It is a separate statutory violation claim.
I see. How does the case go then? So we file a claim. Hold on, let me take a step back.
Do you just file a claim by if I fall on the job, do I tell my boss or do I just call you directly?
You tell your boss. You tell your boss immediately. If they don't report it, then there should be a sign at your employment which says a phone number on there. You can call your insurance company and report your own claim. If your employer doesn't do that, because we do have a lot of cases where the employers don't want to report them because either the supervisor gets a bonus or the store gets a bonus, for not having a lot of claims. So we do run into cases where they don't want to report the claim.
I always wondered what those signs in the lunchroom were all about. Now I'm trying to figure it out. Can you look back at the firm, please, for me? I want to make sure.
Make sure you have it posted.
Yeah, I'm scared now. Actually, I'm a little bit nervous.
It's a law. You got to have it posted.
Oh wow. Yeah, workers' compensation is so interesting. But when do I get you involved? Is it when they do something wrong, or should I get you involved at the beginning to hold my hand throughout this process? Because at the end of the day, I'm not having to pay you up front anyway.
Well, the workers' comp law is so complicated. I tell people if they want to call and just get information, I'm happy to answer their questions. When should they get a lawyer? When they feel like they're not being treated appropriately, when they're not getting the MRI that's done, when there's delays in the medical care, when the insurance adjuster won't talk to them because you never get them on the phone.
Right.
So you have to email them. And when you feel like they're just not doing what they're supposed to do, you should call a lawyer and get some information. It's a complicated law.
It is.
And unless you know how to work through it, you're going to be frustrated beyond belief.
My advice to you is workers' compensation, especially here in Florida, it's thick. You should see the book on workers' compensation. There are a lot of laws here. It is complex. And while sometimes you think that they're treating you the right way, they're trying to appease you, oftentimes they're not doing enough for you. You have to calculate your average weekly wage that they pay you, all sorts of things. I would get Glen involved at the very beginning. And if you have questions for him, by all means, right now, it's 321-282-1055. And Glen, that brings me to my next question, an important one. I'm out of work. I can't work because I was injured on the job. How do I get paid and how much?
Well, workers' comp, if you're out of work completely, you get paid 2/3 of your average weekly wage. And that's a complicated calculation you got to figure out. Most of the time, the insurance companies get that wrong. So because they just go by how many hours, your hourly rate, and figure approximately how many hours you work. They don't actually get the payroll records from the employer. We get those and do that. But you were talking about what adjusters do. I just had a letter the other day where the adjuster wrote the doctor, trying to tell the doctor to take my client off of medications. And this is not a doctor that did this. This is an adjuster from the insurance company saying, we see that they're taking a lot of pain medications. You need to wean them off the medications. And I'm like, what are you doing telling the doctor how to treat the patient?
A doctor and adjuster all wrapped up in one.
Oh, man.
Kind of scary stuff.
It is scary.
Ask me. All right, last question for you, and something you hear a lot, maybe questions that you have at home. I have to drive to work. I can't work from home anymore, and I get injured in an accident on my way to work. You're making me go to work. Is that covered?
It is not. Going to and coming from work, not covered. But these people working at home may be covered, may not be covered, depending on how the accident happens.
Is that right?
It's been a real controversial issue in the law. I had a case that went all the way up to the appellate court on that issue, and you know, it was a poor adjuster that got hurt at home, and they denied the claim.
Really?
Yeah.
We're going to have to address that one next time. I'm dying to hear the conclusion of that one.
Oh, it was not fun.
Glen Wieland, workers' compensation attorney extraordinaire, a fantastic guy, fantastic attorney. If you've been injured on the job, he is the person to call, I assure you. Here's what we're going to do. One last quick break. We will return to learn. What did we learn? Does student loan debt have you spinning out of control? You are not helpless. At Attorneys Justin Krak and Associates, our goal is to lower or even eliminate your monthly payments. Call me today or visit youhavepower.com and take back control of your financial life. If you own a house, you can imagine the roof is probably the most important part of your house. You see a leak, this is a very bad day for you. We have a lot of bad roofing companies out there. We call them storm chasers, in fact. Universal Roofing Contracting joins me. Justin, Corey, you guys are not storm chasers. You've been around for many, many years in this market and really the best in the business and Hall of Fame guest for me as well. What I've done, though, is I put a QR code on the screen for you. All you have to do is scan your phone on the QR code, and we're getting 15% off free roof inspection. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so it's a 15% off a full roof replacement. We do offer free inspections. What you do is you just give us a call, schedule an appointment. We will show up on time as scheduled, provide a free full point inspection, share photos with you, and let you know exactly what you're looking at, what your options are, and decide which path to walk you down. But ultimately, we're going to approach roofing whatever serves you the best.
A lot of people are in this black hole of fighting with their insurance company, their attorney, the public adjuster, whatever, and literally have a tarp on their roof for 2-3 years sometimes while everyone fights it out. The roof is important. If you don't address your roof issue now, damage can occur in your house. What can happen?
Oh, I mean, mold is probably one of the biggest, we have homeowners that have to move out of their property for months at a time just to get the mitigation done of the mold, So if you're seeing any of those brown spots in the ceiling, if you see a missing shingle in the yard, granule loss, any of those are great reasons for us to come do an inspection and kind of get ahead of that, making sure that you're not going to have those kind of issues.
When it comes to roofing, I think that trust is maybe the most important part of hiring a great roofing company. Why do I trust Universal Roofing Contracting?
Family owned, veteran owned, 3 decades in your own backyard, community roofer. Any other reasons are good as the next one. It's just we serve the community. We wear our consultant's hat first, but we're just there to serve and take care of you the best way.
Football team coming to town, I heard?
Yeah. The Orlando Guardians. We just became the official roofing partner of the new Orlando Guardians XFL team. We're super happy about that. Looking forward to a great season.
Love you guys. Do yourself a favor. Need a new roof? There's only one place. It's Universal Roof and Contracting. Do IRS threats have you spinning out of control? You are not helpless. At Attorneys Justin Krak and Associates, our goal is to lower or even eliminate your IRS debt. Call me today or visit youhavepower.com and take back control of your financial life. And as always, today we wrap it up with What Did We Learn? Michaela Nichols, what did you learn?
Justin Clark, I learned a lot.
Yeah, go ahead.
The whole workers' comp thing is really interesting to me. And working from home, whether or not you're entitled to benefits, is quite interesting.
I know. I thought maybe now that we're forcing people to come back to work, you could, if you were injured on your way to work, maybe claim workers' compensation benefits, but it sounds like that's totally out. Yet if you're still working from home, maybe you get injured at the house, trip on your cat. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can claim workers' comp. I don't know if I like that or not, but I don't know. It's
interesting.
It's okay. And Greg Krak has always killed it today, talking about the new changes in the laws here. They're not helping the consumer at all. But I think what I learned from him is now is the time. If you have a claim on your roof or any sort of damage in your house, do it now before all these laws really kind of wreak havoc on the whole system.
Yeah.
Great job as always, Michaela.
Thanks.
And especially thank you for joining us today. Our crew here did an amazing job as always, but thank you. We'll see you again next week for more Behind the Law.
The proceeding was a paid advertisement. The views expressed were the sole responsibility of the advertiser.